Meeting is Tuesday, January 13th. Welcome, everybody. This meeting's minutes have been distributed. Any comments, suggestions?
Changes there. So we approve them as submitted.
Second.
I have a reputation.
Discussion? All those in favor of accepting the minutes as distributed, say aye.
Aye.
And we don't have Margaret and Eric is on the phone. Okay, next would be any treasury
I
report.
don't have a treasurer's report.
Planners report was distributed late, earlier today.
Yeah, there's, like I said in my email, or no, I didn't say in my email, but there were no major changes really from the last report. The only thing is I added something up front, which is something that kind of came to light today. Been sent to town a little over 3 years. Finally received a complaint in the land use office regarding political signs, which I expected to get much earlier than 3 years in. And so,
They're private.
yeah, so political signs on private property. We have a local bylaw regarding political signs that says they have to be removed two days after an election. You can
It's unenforceable.
So, and that's exactly where we are with it. So, reviewing all the available materials, case law, and with town council, town attorney, yeah, we got the confirmation that bylaw is not enforceable. So I'll have to inform the select board of that, because that's a general regulatory bylaw, but it's also in your zoning bylaw.
A question on that, because other towns have that, because people leave them up and they become litter, they become eyesores.
Yeah, sure.
And when you, in the planners report, it almost, I thought the topic was about what constitutes a political sign.
Mm.
Like if you have a big sign or a big flag on your property
Yeah,
advocating for a candidate in 2000.
what's a sign? Yeah,
You know, but that's different than the paper ones.
it's different, but it's all wrapped into one. So it's all under I'm sure the town council would tell you that it's all under freedom of expression under the First Amendment. So, but the issue with regard to the bylaw and labeling something as a political sign, you've labeled it by its contents. And so, and that's the problem. You can't regulate contents of signs. So you have a bylaw that says political signs, which regulates things by their contents. And so it's going to be unenforceable.
I have another question.
Yeah.
For political signs, people usually put them near the road where people can see them.
Those are
Those are what?
not allowed. If they're
25
in
feet
the
from the
road,
center of the traveled way. They have to be 26 feet from the center of the travel.
So on my property, I cannot put a sign where people can see it, basically. I'm not
Well,
complaining.
so it can't be in the town's right of way.
The town right away
that's what I was saying.
is 25 feet off the.
No, the right of way varies from road to road.
Okay.
Well, but
The road is not always in the center of the
but
road.
for a planning board and for us to determine where his frontage starts 50, we have, if it's recorded, it's a 50-foot taking by us, whether the road's 20 foot wide or 28 foot wide. We as a planning board start the person's frontage 25 feet from the center of the travel way.
But that's now, I mean, that's how we write our town,
If-
but roads that have been here since the
If it's
1700s.
on file with the registry of deeds, it's a 50-foot taking.
Through the chair, but both are correct separately. So you have a provision in your bylaw that says, like if there's not information that exists relative to identifying where the property line is, but the town has laid out the roads, you know where your center line is. I think it's the 25 feet, like you said, from the center line. That's where the frontage begins.
Just safely put up a sign is what I'm talking about. You can, even if it's, you just go,
Something for excuse to say no to people.
just put up the signs I do, they always lose, I take them down the next day.
Sounds so much better on your property, confuse me.
All right, is that it for the,
That was it.
Did you say that political signs have to be removed 2 days after?
No, that's the town's law and it's been deemed, we can't do that.
Unconstitutional.
We're not allowed to do that. It's a private, sign. You're interpreting as political, so the town cannot tell you to take your sign down after 2 days.
But that it can't be on town property.
Just can't be on town property.
Oh, yes.
So basically, the law we have in place now is illegal. So,
So, put it on your car and drive all around.
And that's all fairly recent. Like there's been obviously a lot of fervor around those First Amendment cases.
All right, we still have 5 minutes, so I'd like to bring the ground mounted solar placeholder for the town warrant, and if you could go through quickly.
Sure.
That if you, and the basic what it is, if you submitting, if you're putting up a ground mounted solar and up, then you're gonna have to go through a site plan for this board. And you can't just put it up and block the neighbors, anything. It's that.
So I just put this together before the meeting tonight, after condensing through the larger research document that I put together for you, reviewing Buckland, one of the South Shore towns, was Situate, or one of the South Shore town, I forget which they are. But a few other Massachusetts towns.
It was Duxbury.
Duxbury, thank you. And there was a couple others there as well. And they all have different bylaws, I don't think either one of them really followed to a T the Department of Energy and Renewable DOER's suggested model bylaw, which was also provided in your materials. So I kind of took all that with the discussion we were having about solar and kind of came up with this. So this is accessory use. So you have an existing accessory uses and structures bylaw, right? And that section of it says, under this section, these are all the accessory uses in your residential zones that are deemed to be appropriate and allowable. It says a bunch of things, but it will possibly also say this, which is small scale solar energy systems. And those are intended to be described or defined as ones that are not exceeding a certain size, and you can all discuss what you want that size to be. The suggested size is 1,750 square feet of, area out of a piece of land. A small system that is intended to be used as accessory to a primary use, feeding the energy to a home, possibly a business accessory. Those are to be allowed by right, specifically ground mounted panels. And this puts in a height of not to exceed 20 feet. That was suggested language, but also you don't have to be married to that. I don't think you could probably change that if that was the desire. The panels must all comply with the typical dimensional regulations. So setbacks of the various zoning districts. Panels must be located in the side yard or it says rear yard, correct that, or rear yard of a property.
Mhm.
Only through site plan approval. I should have skipped over the first one, was the most important, sorry. Site plan approval is required for them.
Mhm.
So, and now that's intended to control for problems.
Should the very first sentence, all small scale solar energy systems be all small scale ground mounted solar energy systems? So everyone putting in a roof mounted system doesn't show up here?
Yeah, probably. The definition does say ground mounted. So I find it here in definitions,
Oh, a ground mounted.
ground
okay,
mounted, yeah. So then small scale then is reflective of that
Okay,
ground mounted.
okay.
But
Yep.
yes, exactly. We don't want to review mounted. So any ground mounts of a certain size comes to the planning board for site plan review. That site plan review will be intended to correct for glaring problems.
that's also notification of a butters.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
it's not a special permit. There is
Not special.
full votes required. It's just a site plan with 3 votes required, but it will bring in the neighbors and it will bring in a look at, make sure we don't duplicate what happened in the past.
So this intends for, there's a preference for either side yard or rear yard. Somebody can get approval to put it in the front yard, but only with the planning board's review of that and determination that it is reasonable. I put in an example of if there's an existing treetop canopy in a rear yard that's making it impossible for somebody to put panels back there because they wouldn't do anything, then you might want to review that, especially in with E, which is the land clearing provision, which you want to discourage
That's perfect.
a lot of land clearing. So if it amounts to somebody disturbing and removing a large amount of trees for the purpose of solar, but you can otherwise provide for it in the front yard and maybe make some provisions to,
I wonder though, if we're gonna get in trouble on town floor, on town meeting floor, if we say land clearing for the purpose of solar installation shall be discouraged, except with permission from us.
Well, I suggest that we leave it in there and we get to the town, we have to have a public hearing on this.
Right.
And then we can ask that question and change it there.
I mean, because people are gonna say, what do you mean? You know, does that mean one tree? Does that mean taking down
I
a half
agree.
acre? And if it means one tree, people are,
I was, through the chair, I was thinking that as I was writing it, and I was thinking to myself, should it be tied to land disturbance permits through the Conservation Commission, that sort of thing? So it's like, yeah, where do you draw that line? I agree.
That's a good discussion. All right, so that's gonna, everybody got that, didn't we? So we can talk about it. All right.
So that can
7-11.
change. That's just suggested language based on the conversations.
So we're gonna suspend the regularly scheduled meeting and open up.
Is there somebody who's? Would we go in with? Okay, maybe I missed. Okay, never mind. I thought I saw the woman who
One
was
from
done.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. It says in her honor, we should name the bylaw after her.
I should make it
All
small.
right, so we're gonna open the public hearing for 130 South Street. Subdivision, 4 lots. It has been posted and we have
John Federico, I believe he's on for this.
do we have all of the receipts, return receipts for the,
This is 130 South Street.
it's already been, this is a continued.
Yeah, you've already heard, you've already opened the public hearing for
All
this.
right, this is a continued public hearing. All right, go ahead.
Great. Thank you folks for having me. We received our updated peer review comments from Stantec yesterday. So we are in the process of reviewing those as well as some other comments, and we will be providing answers back to the board as soon as available. And also as a general update for the project, we are going in front of Conservation tomorrow night's meeting to discuss the wetland delineation and some recent comments that we received from Conservation during the last peer review.
Through the chair, if I may, I followed up with Stantec, the peer review today, and Stantec emphasized, they just have 2 main issues that they'd like to see resolved. The first being the 75-foot leveling at the intersection of South Street into the new road. That's not to exceed 3% grade. I think currently the plans show 3%. That's about like into 10 feet or so currently. So I think that needs to be corrected for. And then also there was concern relative to the stormwater drainage. If the Stantec's issue is that they would just like to see additional information that verifies that the infrastructure that is proposed is capturing the
It works, we
stormwater.
just want to make sure the water gets there.
They're not concerned about the capacity of what is proposed. It's, as I described, it's a transit problem, not a final destination problem.
Can you address the 3% leveling area?
So with regards to the 3% leveling area, that was slightly increased due to our vertical curve. We are in the process of looking to push that vertical curve back to like 100-foot mark or so that we would be able to maintain that 3% max slope through that leveling area. Or if we can hold less, we will hold less.
All right, so if you go from 3% back to 75 feet, you're gonna have to make some cuts. Is that correct?
There already is some cuts on that project, but we will.
Well, so let me be specific. You showed it 8% now. If you were to cut that down to the 3% that's required, you would have to cut down 5 feet. Is that, well, 5%, is that correct?
I don't know what the exact numbers would be. The 8% portion would still be maintaining itself. It just would be instead of say a 200-foot run at 8%, we might only be looking at 150 feet, so that we can get the extra footage on the 3% portion. I just don't have any exact numbers at this moment in time for you.
Any changes to that roadway leveling will require a grading change, and you'll have to submit a grading change to show what the runoff and what the disturbance is going to be for that change in the grade. You're not just
Yes.
going to change from 3 to 8 and not supply any runoff information.
No. We are going to be updating full set of plans and everything for that, including any drainage calcs as needed. Generally, the way that site's graded, even with pushing back the leveling area, pushing back the vertical curve to allow for a longer leveling area, all the water will still be draining into the roadway as originally designed. So I'm not anticipating too much for a drainage change there, but we will update anything accordingly based on that new information.
Through the chair, the last thing I neglected to mention was just showing on the plan the 200-foot site distance leaving the road.
Right.
I think there's my review of it, Stantec's review of it, and probably the applicant's review of it. It's likely obtainable, but it just needs to be shown on the plan.
It's flat.
Yeah.
Currently, we did provide in our updated plan set the site distance triangles, and we were able to achieve up to 240 feet, if I recall correctly on that, which would be above the 200-foot required through the planning comments. But we will make sure that we do have the appropriate profile for it as well to show that any object at a 2 or 2.5 foot height will be able to be seen by the driver's eye. That area is flat, so we're not anticipating anything, but we will provide an updated profile for that.
That's what Stantec was waiting on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you said that you just got comments from the Concom engineering review. I'm assuming that the concerns with the drainage system that were identified by our engineering review, were they also identified by theirs? Are you working in that?
So the Concom review was from our first peer review set of comments, and there was an area located by the cul-de-sac that was potentially identified as a wetland area. We were asked to take a closer look into that. So we have already conducted a wetland delineation for that area. No wetlands were found in that portion of the site, and we will be presenting our findings tomorrow to conservation for that.
Open up to the butters or anybody present name. Go ahead.
Hi, so my name is Cal Avermeyer. I've submitted a very lengthy written statement for the record, but tonight I just want to read a brief summary of it on behalf of all the abutters that are here and present tonight. My family happens to live adjacent to the proposed Road A, and I just want to remark that what you decide here is going to directly affect both our home and our daily life and the daily life of all the abutters. The applicant asks you to do something very significant, and that is to waive 6 subdivision standards, not for convenience, but because the road, the drainage system, the groundwater, and the slopes of this site cannot all comply with your rules at the same time. The applicant's own waiver letter states, and I quote, "These pipes cannot be designed for the 4-foot depth of cover due to the constraints of the roadway profile and the groundwater separation to the bottom of the drainage basin."
Okay, I'm gonna actually stop you for
Okay,
1
sure.
second. Can you respond to that you don't have 4 foot of cover on these?
Yes, there was 3 pipe locations, and if I recall them correctly, they were located for the infiltration system capturing the runoff before it enters into South Street. We are currently going to be proposing Class 5 RCP, which is an accepted pipe strength that would allow up to a minimum of, of 1 foot of cover. Typically, the towns and standard regulations will be looking for RCP Class 3. So this is going to be a much durable pipe in that location. That waiver request has been included on our most recent response to comments submitted back in December. And we have identified those on the plans as well, calling them out specifically as the class 5 in those locations.
All right, so let me see if I got this straight. You're asking us for a waiver from our regulations because the pipes that you're putting in are higher quality and do not need 4 feet of depth?
Yes, essentially it is a higher quality and we wouldn't need it, but also too, we are requesting it just because if we were to sink the pipe 4 feet down, by the time we run a pipe slope and then connect it into the infiltration system, that infiltration system would be underground water at that point. And
But you're saying
unfortunately,
that-
we can't increase our road slopes to offset that.
So you're saying the depth of the pipe is only related, the 4 foot depth is only related to the strength of the pipe, it's not related to anything else?
No, what he's saying is that they can't go deeper. He's saying we can't meet your standards because of the slopes. And therefore, instead, we want you to accept these more durable pipes, but they'll have to be shallower.
But they don't
Well-
need the same amount of cover
Right,
because they're more durable, so.
that's what they're
They only
saying.
need 1 foot.
But
rather
so
than
they're
4.
asking, that is the waiver that they're asking.
No, it's not that I don't believe them, that they're more durable.
No, I'm not arguing, Tommy. I'm just explaining what he's saying, that this, they're not asking for it because they're more durable. They're asking for it because they can't meet the standard.
Well, okay, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you can't put the road somewhere else to meet our standards?
With the way that the groundwater conditions are out there, unless we were to get a waiver from that 3% level area, I would not be able to pick up the road grade enough to meet that 4 foot of cover requirement.
So why is it in the best interest of the town to waive our requirements so that you can build the homes?
As far as it goes, if the town is concerned about any sort of runoff that can make it out into South Street, causing icing concerns, we are trying to have catch basins located as close to that street intersection so that we will be preventing any of this from happening.
So you read in the best interest of the town is simply a concern.
As far as it goes, that is at least the rationale for why we're proposing it right now. I know we have not fully gone through any of our waiver discussions just yet, but if that's anything that we do need to have now versus towards the end of the meeting cycles, I'd be more than happy to at least provide as much information as I can and then take any feedback back while we're revising plans.
Going to be a concern?
This is going to be a concern. Thank you. All right, I'd like to continue.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I'd like to just remark that, to me, what I've heard is that was an admission that the road profile, the groundwater conditions, and the constraints of the roadway physically conflict in this site. And then I want to point you to Stantec's second peer review that's just dated January 25th of your own engineer that confirms the most serious issues still remain unresolved as of today. The road still does not meet the stopping site distances and leveling area requirements. A groundwater mounding analysis is still being requested. Infiltration reliability under conservative conditions is still in question. Concom is still not, has accepted this and it's not documented. I did hear that there's going to be a meeting on that tomorrow. And the fire department coordination is still ongoing. And what I want to point out is that these issues directly tie to the waivers that are being requested. In prudent planning practice, a small 4-lot subdivision typically requires just 1 or 2 very minor waivers. It is highly unusual for a project of this size to require 6 waivers tied to core engineering and safety standards. That pattern is a sign that the land is resisting the design. Under MGL Chapter 41, Section 81R, waivers may only be granted when they are in the public interest and consistent with the intent of your regulations. If this plan were truly to fit the land, it would not require this many fundamental waivers, and Stantec would still not be raising these concerns. So I respectfully ask the board to deny the waivers and plan because the consequences of getting this wrong will be lived every day by the people in this room, every day by the people who already live here, and every day by the people who drive South Street. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. All right, I'm going to continue this till, how long do you need? 2 weeks? a month to answer these questions?
I would like to request 2 weeks, and then if we need more time, I could send Mike a extension request if possible.
That would be the 10th.
Yeah. every time.
We have one continuance to that already. But that's coming up next. So 7:10. Are we okay for 7:10 on the 10th?
May I make a
That'll be
request?
perfectly fine.
And if there is a continuance, another 2 weeks requested, if you could notify the neighbors because they've been religious about showing up and
Yeah.
you don't want
It's
people to
not-
show up if there's no reason for it. So
Very
that also
stressful.
might not be a bad idea for someone to check with Mike, like on Monday
Yeah.
or Lauren,
Thank
you
you.
know, just in case, you know, to still, especially on the well-plowed South Street.
You don't want to throw them.
All right, thank you very much. Have any other questions? All right, thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
I'm gonna reopen the regularly scheduled meeting and open the, thank you. Public hearing for 68 Grove Street, and that has been requested to continuance to February 10th. Is there a motion to accept the request? to continue?
Motion to accept.
Second,
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the request to February 10th at 7:20?
They're still working through comments, right, that they got for peer review. I think that's why.
Say that.
yes,
That's right, we're all here, it's
We are a little early, so it's good for the next one.
Want to go over the other,
Yes,
bylaw?
you go to the ADU.
Yeah. The ADU bylaw, so it's a small change to just be more specific as we were discussing last time. Let me just share this. So CMRPC had, in your materials, you were given a copy of the full ADU bylaw that CMRPC had generated for you. That's are changes to your existing bylaw. And that larger document is just to make language consistent between your bylaw and the state's language. That is most of that document. There's no big policy changes in it that you haven't.
I like the way ours is written better. Well, the most common use of this will be, and we don't have to sign ADUs, that's a building inspector. But if we approve the size is 850, like the state set it at 850, but when we decide to go up to 1,000, just us, every one of these is gonna be outdated or out of compliance. This would save that, so that anyone that was built is protected until they sell it, until it's a deed. If it comes back to us, it has to be zoned. But if you're not coming back to the planning board and there's no land for it, then there's no need for us to get involved, and it should be right.
Yeah, I just want to show you what your current language says and what the proposed language says. Just tell me I can't do it. I just want to share it too. So this is your current bylaw. The section of the bylaw that's in question, the last provision of it, which is the grandfathering section. And the stricken out language that says accessory dwelling units permitted or allowed by special permit at the time of adoption of this bylaw section are exempt from these provisions. So that was the only thing you had in there currently. And that's creating confusion because it's been interpreted that if you have an existing accessory apartment that is over the 900 square feet that's allowed by the state, that you then still need to get additional approvals through the zoning board in order to rectify that.
No.
Yeah, and that was not the intent of that. And so the zoning board requested that changes. That's why you're looking at it.
And because it's a zoning change, we have to,
And so the proposed language that I've added in there is any ADU approved by building permit, special permit, or variance in existence prior to the adoption of this new bylaw are to be treated as protected use ADUs, regardless of area, height, setbacks, or any other feature that would otherwise be non-conforming. That way it's specific that if it was approved, it's approved, and it should be treated as an approved ADU. Which I believe is the intent.
sounds like he's got a few calls. All right, it's 7:30.
So do we have to take a vote on that or we full?
No, it's just for information.
Oh,
right
yeah,
now. You'll
yeah,
just
just,
set. Yeah.
Oh, we're not going to do that.
You can do that tonight if you'd like.
Okay, 7:30, I'm going to suspend the regularly scheduled meeting and open up a public hearing, 47 Mechanic Street, large lot frontage reduction. Here or there. Or here.
Recusing.
Got two recusals, then Eric, you are.
He's on.
That's the word.
Activated.
Activated.
We had 4 engineers once trying to set one of those taking things up.
Fortunately, I have way too much experience.
You just told somebody stand there, hold it.
What's easier? Particularly they're tying to a fence.
Right ahead, sir.
We read the public hearing or not?
No, Tom already opened up.
Oh, okay.
Opened, we do have your, receiving.
Green cards.
Yep, green cards here. Absolutely. So Mark Allen with Allen Engineering and Associates, here representing Amy Miller, the owner of the property. Property is 47 Mechanic Street. It's a 22-acre parcel. It's up on the screen now for your viewing as well as on the board. It is on the easterly side of Mechanic Street, just across from Meadow Drive. The proposal is for one large lot frontage reduction parcel under the town's bylaw, of which the bylaw requires 3 times the required lot area. It requires a 65-foot diameter circle be placed through the frontage, and it has certain setbacks that are also increased from the front of the street to the building. So this lot does conform. The entire parcel is in pink. The large lot frontage reduction lot is this 7-acre piece. The existing house will be retained on a zoning conforming 1.26 acre piece with the required frontage as well. And the remaining 13 acres, which is about 60% of the land, is going to be remain as an unbuildable lot for future conservation. We can get to that in a couple of minutes. As part of the application, we have forward with what could be done on the large lot frontage reduction peak parcel. So that 7 acres could yield a 4-lot subdivision under current zoning requirements. Current zoning is 40,000 square feet, 200 feet of frontage. So a cul-de-sac could be, construed in such a way that the existing house could be built, and 4 lots could be created from the 6-acre parcel. Obviously, the intent of the bylaw and Amy's intent is to reduce that area of development and kind of keep it to just the singular house on the 7-acre parcel. So I have. We do have, pull up the mass mapper, if you will, kind of zoomed out. The 22 acres that Amy does own is shown here in a bold red line. And because of its size and nature and it's situated amongst 12 other abutting parcels. So based on the bylaw of not being able to be further divided, we have scored a line to sever that back remaining 13 acres of land to be not a buildable lot, so that Amy's 7-acre parcel, that's a large lot reduced frontage, cannot be further divided. So it's uncertain at this time. Amy's, entertaining, all sorts of possibilities for that land. It's not first and foremost on her mind at the present time. But should one of those 12 abutting parcels sort of shown around the perimeter show some sort of future access, as well as or possibly to be annexed to other conservation restricted land, that all those discussions are up for conservation or discussion. If for some reason that Amy wants to entertain an easement in the future through her property, that's also another avenue of which to gain access to the open space. It's not her desire at the moment to have people coming through her property. So her first hope is that she negotiates with a friendly abutter that might be able to annex the property. And if not, an easement could be created that would not further subdivide the property, but would give Amy the right or the ability to negotiate the rights that can and can't go on, whether it be vehicular, non-vehicular, pedestrian travel and whatnot.
So Mark, if she were to sell it to an abutter,
Mhm.
it would still, because it's been cut off via the large lot frontage reduction bylaw, it would still be undevelopable. Right? The abutter couldn't then put a driveway up their a road up their property onto.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the application in a nutshell. You've seen this application in a different form last year with 2 lots. Amy's listened to the board's concerns and has reduced it down to the 1 lot. So any questions the board may have, I'm more than happy to answer.
Questions? Eric, any questions?
Nope.
We cannot let,
Public here too.
we'll let the board first, and then we'll open it up. Can't landlock a parcel at any time. We can't landlock it, whether it's an 81P, whether it's a frontage lot. We can't landlock the frontage. And you have no guarantees that it's gonna be taken over by one of the neighbors. There's no guarantee that it's gonna be developed in the future. So in the meantime,
Can't be developed in the future.
unbuildable is not unusable. It has to be taxable, it has to be accessible.
But it can't be developed because it's part of the large lot frontage. So,
We're landlocking.
oh, I know, I understand the landlocking. I'm just saying that even with landlocking, it can't be.
You just landlocked 3 parcels at 108 Rose Street through a large lot reduced frontage.
I'm not gonna argue on this argument.
I have any other examples for you.
Any questions?
No, we're kind of happy like that. We decided to.
Any objection to closing the public hearing? All right, public hearing is closed. Would you like to talk about this in 2 weeks, or you want to discuss it now?
It's fine.
It-
Through the chair, I'm sorry to interrupt. You close the public hearing, you just, if you want to receive more information from the applicants or get more input from the residents, you'll have to reopen the public hearing. So if there's anything you want to receive before you make your decision.
All right, it needs 4 votes. There's only 4 of us.
So can are you considering, approaching the town with that piece of property as well?
I don't know if it's the town or Sudbury trustees, somebody. I just can't kind of process that while I'm trying to do this and build myself a house. But yes, that's my intention.
That has to be determined before we sign it.
Can I just, my real concern is keeping all the parts of the bylaw, and the bylaw says, if I do this now and we can't delineate that unbuildable piece as a separate piece, I can never do that later because I can't divide it again.
Yes, I explained to your engineer last time that planning boards are not legally allowed to landlock a parcel until then to get at least a 20-foot easement, 20-foot easement to that parcel from somewhere.
That easement may come from 12 other
Excuse me,
potential
excuse me,
pieces.
excuse me. In a subdivision, it's a 50-foot. On a non-conforming lot or a parcel, it's 20 feet. That's the rule, that way forever. I'm gonna vote against this, and you're not gonna get it. Maybe there's 3 votes for it. I'm gonna ask for a vote right now. All those in favor of this as submitted, please say aye.
I'm
I think we should have more discussion before we jump to a vote right now.
I'd like to, through the chair, I'd like to also,
No, excuse me, we're in the middle of planning board talking right now. I would like to vote on this. Who's opposed to voting on this? Are you opposed to voting on it?
I would like to learn more.
You'd like to learn more?
Yes, that was.
All right. Then we will continue this public hearing for 2 weeks. All right, thank you very much.
if I could just add
That's how the
some
meeting, we're
information.
done. No, we're done with this meeting. It continues 2 weeks. You can
Okay,
come
can
back.
I ask a question of the proponent?
Please do.
So I think you have heard what has gone on here. Do you have a proposal? Will you come back with a proposal that you think will require some support?
I think the proposal before you meets the requirements of the board, every single aspect of the large lot reduced frontage. The remaining land thereof is not part of the large lot reduced frontage piece that we're asking for permission. We've shown that the 4-lot subdivision could occur within that large lot reduced frontage. But what I'd also like to leave with the board tonight for discussion is 108 Grove Street, because I knew this was going to come up. It came up at the setting of the public hearing. In 2023, the board endorsed a plan.
This is what I didn't want to mention. What I didn't want to, this is a brand new plan, and this has nothing to do with any other plan. This shows, this shows, this is why I didn't want you, this is why I didn't want to, okay, no, this is
No.
not going to be submitted today. This will be 2 weeks.
This
We're
shows,
not going to talk about it, sir.
this shows that parcels have been created in this town and
Do I
endorsed
have
by
to
this
have him
board.
removed from the meeting?
And I also want to let you know, Tom, that you also endorsed a plan for Sweet William Farm. Do you remember Sweet William Farm? Sweet William Farm was a
You're done.
landlocked piece.
Please do not, sir, you are done. For this, your public hearing has been suspended, postponed for 2 weeks. I don't want to hear any more about it.
Sweet William Farm was a large landlocked piece. of
Boy, he's
property.
pushing his, boy, you see how he pushes it?
Okay, so we'll hear about this in 2
Should
weeks.
get a new engineer.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
More than happy to show you
I can't.
past.
I'm gonna present it in 2 weeks. Not today. I'll talk about it now. We have other things to go to. We have other things on the agenda.
It will be better.
Love to see it. Haven't watched yet.
Did we talk about 6 to 8 Grove Street by any chance? Did I miss that?
That has been posted, that has been continued to February 10th.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, preliminary discussion on Walnut Street, possible subdivision on Walnut.
Yeah, Jack. Oh, John, you're on for
Yes.
Jacobus.
Yes, that's correct. Mr. Lapidus, I believe will be attending in person. I know you had mentioned to him around an 8 o'clock hour. Not sure if he has arrived just yet. But be more than happy to at least start any sort of discussion if there's nothing else the board would like to cover until his arrival.
Oh yeah, apologies. That was just a guess. I didn't mean to come at 8 o'clock.
No,
Basically.
no worries or anything like that. I know, I think I see him coming on right now. So perfect timing for things.
So good.
Come prepared.
Jack, not sure if you can hear us, but we are just about to open up for your project.
Yep, I can hear.
All right, great. So good evening. For the record, John Federico with Gurrier and Hellman. If I can be able to share my screen, I do have a copy of the plan. If not, I believe that plan was submitted to you earlier, Mike, if you would like to pull that up. It was a colorized
Good
copy.
try. If you can try and
How
share
many
it.
units of this one? How many is that?
Oh, I forget it. It's a handful. It's like 5 or, how many lots? It was like 5 or 6?
5 lots, correct.
5.
And I am trying to do the screen share now. Unfortunately, I'm not too used to Teams, so if you wouldn't mind, just let me know if you could see everything. I would appreciate that.
It's up.
Okay, great. I believe that this subdivision or this proposal has been in front of the board a few times. This current iteration of the plan, based on feedback that we received from the town, will be meeting all of the lot zoning regulations for frontage area, buildable area and such. Essentially what is in front of you tonight, it's a approximate road length of about 694 feet. We are proposing that currently as 24 feet wide. And then it will be one existing house and 4 new lots that will be created for this road. So a total of 5 lots for the subdivision.
Now, why
essentially-
are you including the frontage lot in the subdivision?
I'm sorry, the frontage lot?
Why are you including the frontage lot? It's a different process, different approval process. Do you need it to qualify for land or for drainage or something?
No, as far as it goes, from my understanding, the existing house, we're just trying to keep it as an active house. We're not necessarily trying to take it down. Remaining lots have been cut out around that to meet the zoning bylaws.
So
Hold on, through the chair. John, the chair's referring to the lot at the bottom of the screen, the one that touches. Yeah.
I apologize. This is all going to be the drainage easement area. This little sliver portion here, I'm not sure the exact dimension. That would just be left over for lot 5 here. Or if anything is needed for the drainage purposes, that's currently what that area will be utilized for.
What is the yellow? I'm sorry, what is there are 4 houses in purple and 1 in yellow?
Yes. So the purple houses are our proposed houses. The yellow house is the existing house that Mr. Lapidus occupies. And then here in orange are our proposed septic systems. Mr. Lapidus's existing septic system is shown here without any color.
Where is
And
Mr. This access to this?
Currently there is a
cul-de-sac
driveway.
just-
Look for this.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. Currently there is a proposed driveway, or sorry, an existing driveway that is currently right where my cursor is, and then essentially kind of follows its way through this area, takes a hard left, and then lines up with Mr. Lapidus's garage. So our new proposed roadway will be within, I'd say, about 30 to 50 feet of that original driveway center line.
And his driveway would connect, the other driveways are depicted on this plan, but.
Correct.
What buildings exist now? What are they?
yellow
The only
building.
building that exists is this yellow building here and the associated utilities, this well and the septic system in the back.
And this didn't go in originally as a large lot frontage reduction, right?
Not from my understanding.
Yeah, at one point, we had a preliminary discussion about that.
But it was never done.
Oh, excuse me, not large lot, I'm sorry. My error. It was an open space, excuse me, my error.
Back end.
West side, I guess would be. Interesting. What waivers are you planning on asking for?
Currently, the biggest waiver that we'll be asking for, and we would like to get some potential direction from the town tonight, would be regarding the open space. We believe with a subdivision this small, that the open space requirement might not be best suited for this use. So that was one thing that we wanted to bring in front of you. The next largest waiver that we're going to be requesting would be for the road length of 694 feet, where the zoning bylaw allows 500. You do allow up to 750, but I believe that is via waiver or a planning board approval.
You're not asking for a road width waiver?
We are also asking for that as well. Road regulation would be 26 feet wide per regulations. We would be looking to reduce that down to 24 feet wide. And then
You're prepared to tell us why it's in the best interest of the town to do all these things?
When we formally file for anything, we will wrap up a letter that will go along with our waiver requests, noting anything along those lines for best interest to the town. I unfortunately do not have all those answers for you tonight.
Is the plan for the town to take over that road upon completion of this, or is it always going to stay private and under the control of a HOA?
Mr. Lapidus, do you have any indication for that?
I had assumed it would be public.
It's built the same way, and if you have it public, you don't have to take care of it, so
But don't you have to put sidewalks, a sidewalk in it?
on one side only.
Yeah.
And and if it's 24 feet wide, you probably have to put a sidewalk in it, 26 feet wide, I don't know.
We would be requesting a
Are
waiver.
you
from the-
planning, are you planning a cistern or anything? Have you talked to fire yet? They often want a cistern
we are
and a,
We're currently just in a very preliminary phase right now for it. Prior to any sort of preliminary plan filing, we will be having some more discussions with the fire department on that. I believe we would be needing a cistern out here. And I know with a couple of the active projects we have going on, we will be able to provide some updated details and answers regarding any cisterns if they are needed for this project.
Please be prepared to need a cistern. You'll probably be asked by at least someone on the board to put in a cistern. You don't have on water, and sprinkling houses is the best way for fire protection.
Understood for that. We will make sure that we do include any cistern easement locations on any plan sets formally submitted here.
Usually it's in the middle of the cul-de-sac.
Okay, not a problem. We could always add in an island to the cul-de-sac if that was needed, or have it centrally located to best serve all locations on site.
The fire chief will probably have some good ideas on that. He's done it a few for us.
Sure, not a problem. We will definitely make sure we coordinate with them on that. As far as a couple of the other waivers initially that we were looking at here would be a waiver for the no street trees, where street trees are required every 75 feet. We are potentially looking at a waiver for no sidewalks, where one sidewalk is required. And the final waiver request will be for streetlights. Streetlights. Yeah,
You're probably
it
going to
would
be
be
good
for
on streetlights, although you do have to give us the design that they would be, should they be put in by the selectmen?
yeah, we don't just, we can't waive streetlights, only the selectmen can waive streetlights. But the
Okay.
selectmen like streetlights because they have to pay the electric bill.
Okay, understood for that. We
So-
could definitely show
Curiosity,
any lights if needed.
why is there a waiver for the sidewalk?
Currently, Walnut Street has no sidewalks out there, so this would just be a sidewalk going to nowhere. So we would be looking to essentially request that waiver if granted by the board or deemed appropriate by the board.
Just one more question. When you guys come back, can you depict where the driveway will be from the existing house? All the other driveways on the
Sure.
map for that house.
We will need to get a little bit more information for the site, but essentially through this area right here where my cursor is, that is the existing driveway. And then it starts to climb towards this test pit that we have completed. So the new driveway essentially would hold the same area here, and we would just make sure it perpendiculars into the roadway, approximately right where this other test pit is located. But we will make sure that any updated plans do properly show that for you.
Find it out of curiosity. Like, you got Walnut Street, but,
Mine is East Street.
East Street
Estate.
Estates.
oh,
This was the property that.
oh, they forget, okay.
All right, give us, give Mike a call if there's any questions you have for us, and he'll get it to us.
Sure. Right now, the major questions that we were essentially looking to get some direction from the board on tonight would be how you might feel about the waiving of the open space parcel for a site of this size, and if there would be any major concerns or pushback on the roadway length.
Unfortunately, waivers are not determined until at the end of the process. We really have to get a review from the reviewing engineer. We have to get the neighborhood, we have to get the town officials' advice before we can comment on the waiver.
But we can tell you that the board has on occasion taken money instead of open space.
Donated to the library was one of them.
Yeah, so there have been ways that people have gotten around this, but
It's recreation. You're providing recreation for not just the subdivision, but for the whole town. So that's a reason to accept something like that.
Okay.
But,
If we didn't want to go with that type of alternative, and this is just a very conceptual idea, but where East Street Estates to the north of this property is potential to be built, if there was any sort of discussions with that developer for us to create a walking trail or access to connect into East Street Estates, where that would be, at least from our current proposals, connecting into Peppercorn Hill Conservation Area, if that would be a potential solution that the board might be in favor of.
I mean, we are talking to East Street Estates about a trail that would allow people to get to Peppercorn, so.
We should caution them not to tie this to some other subdivisions. If that doesn't go
Right.
through, then they
Then,
can be impacted.
yeah. We've been talking to East Street Estates for some time now. And that time is measured in decades, not. So,
And I understand the board's concern with not tying in anything to another subdivision. Just not sure if the board, if that subdivision is going to be approved, if the board would be in favor of having interconnected trails in between these type of properties.
We have done that in the past, yes.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that type of feedback. Mr. Lapidus, is there anything you'd like to add or any questions on your end that you have for the board before we dismiss?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for your time. Are there any final questions that the board might have before we start to look into our next steps here?
Nothing that's not football related.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Because you-
thank you very much. I do appreciate your time tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do this Sunday. I got nothing to do. Okay, so we gotta, pardon?
You shoveled your driveway?
Can snowball it, yeah, it takes 2 hours.
That's it?
And yeah, that's just the driveway. Then I gotta get the car out and I
Oh,
gotta.
no, 2 hours. Especially since it's all in ice cream.
wow.
Well, I use a shovel.
And then it's like, you gotta go shovel the deck all night, because the dogs just crap on it. Okay.
Well, and also because it's the storm that comes this week. This is because there's something that might be.
All right, so let's move on to the master plan update. We got a good one for, what was it, transportation's almost ready, right?
So I think the next step would be deciding on goals. I had listed some on the drafts and then kind of narrowing down the scope from there and seeing what work needs to be done. I know that grant season is starting, so if professional help is needed for the transportation chapter, which may be, then it would be good to know
That-
what direction that should be going in.
Well, I picked that one because I thought that would be the one that's most easily to finish, because we just had a whole bunch of roads done. 140 has just been done. The Main Street, West Main Street's just been done.
There was a talk about some traffic surveys recently. Bunch of roads were looked at. Are those happening? Have they happened?
I don't think they've happened yet, but there were a few planned for this summer. CMRPC was gonna come out and do their traffic counts. I think East Street was one of them.
And they did, Cidermill last year, didn't they? I thought they've already done a couple of these.
And I think
Cidermill had the,
the vans are also included in transportation. Just got a new one, not a little one, we got the big one, so we got senior housing, the community center has vans, I think that's part of Upton's transportation. So I don't know what else.
Minivan,
What's that?
a minivan or something?
They have a small bus and basically some Toyota SUV.
Oh, it's an SUV.
I can't imagine taking one or two people in that big thing. Just that they wish to.
Oh, and the bus, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why they got the SUV.
Okay, that's the transportation one. Any other one on that or?
Through the chair, I had a, I'm struggling to find it to bring it up, but I had a litany of comments on the transportation plan. I really felt that we could stand to benefit from some professional help on the transportation plan.
Okay.
And like Lauren was saying, we got the grant portal just opened. It'd be nice to throw in at least a grant application to see if we can get some help on that.
Is that,
There's ongoing conversation even about sidewalks. Like I was able to find, a lot of towns have like a sidewalk master plan essentially, which is that, you know, we don't have to do something so outlandish, but like,
we had a bike plan and we wanted to have a plan that could walk through the entire town.
yeah, and that's referenced in the transportation plan. But I feel like with the progress of the town over the last 20 years and the intentions of the town with the new zoning districts and, you know, specifically this zoning district, the center, and then also the MBTA district, and then potentially what comes out of recommendations for West Upton. You know, there's a substantial need, I think, to evaluate your sidewalks and
It doesn't look as easy as I thought it would be.
yeah, I think it's a lot more to unravel.
Then what's your advice on, Laura, what's your advice on who and how much?
I think we need to narrow down the scope first. I put the comments up there. And one thing we've been discussing sort of recently, but it kind of stopped around town meeting and with the new town manager was doing a partnership with the Metro West Regional
Right.
Transit Authority. Since we do pay into that, but we'd have to not negotiate necessarily, but decide with the select board which services we would want. And it sounds like the best option would be increasing the services through the senior center with their current service.
I think last time we also talked about potentially doing a survey of the town to see what people would like to see. You know, would people use, if we ran a shuttle to the train station in Southborough, would people use it? Would there be, could the town, I feel like the town would benefit from having a shuttle that.
Yeah, I used to advocate that. I would have taken it.
Yeah.
Because I can't park. I put in my leave
Yeah.
at Westboro. So, Eric just had a comment about how CMRPC should have a sidewalk.
Inventory, yeah.
On all federal aid eligible roads, yeah, they should have it. But again, that's probably 20% of Upton's sidewalks, if that.
It's not the ones that go into subdivisions, huh?
No.
No, certainly not.
And most of the roads that don't go into subdivisions don't have sidewalks.
The ones that drive.
Oh, so go ahead, continue.
Yeah, so I guess the next step is figuring out the direction that we want to go with transportation. These are the old goals, so an increased focus on like public transportation, such as a bus system, could be a goal, or increasing the sidewalk network, I guess, or also increasing, I guess, circulation between existing like state forests and conservation lands might belong more in the natural resources chapter, but that's another form of circulation that could be incorporated.
Public transportation is.
Yeah, it would just be good to know like what types of surveys would be needed and what kind of help would be needed. Some of this outreach Mike and I can do, or we can, figure out a way to make it less expensive, but.
Let's go around the room and what's the most important thing you think is public transportation?
That's real important, yeah.
I think it's understanding where our accidents and our safety problems are. Where are all of the problems that we currently have that a widening, you know, an intersection of rounding could be improved. Where can we improve our roadways, intersections to make them safer? That would be my public. What do you got? What do you think?
Well, yeah, the traffic is just gonna increase in here, so I think some sort of public transportation is a good
Yeah.
idea.
What about the speed limits? That.
Speed limits.
You,
Speed limits are governed at a point
Yeah.
by state and federal law.
I think so.
well, what we have to do is you sit there and you measure the speed of people.
Yeah.
And you take that average speed and you can lower 10 miles an hour under that speed. So they did it on 140 and the average speed was 60. So they reduced it to 50 and it was only 45. So they would actually raise the speed limit according to the speed they were driving.
So that's,
Unless Curly was still alive. Curly, we need speed limit signs on my road. Okay, what do you think the speed limit should be?
Yeah.
That's what went up.
I do like those flashing signs, you know, that just tell you that
Yeah.
you're speeding.
The one crossing that I view every day is the Glenview Chestnut across 140. That's a bad intersection waiting for, especially in the winter time now, because they start to block, you really.
Oh, you can't see anything right now with these snowbanks.
Should the
thing with
140,
speeding is that it's enforcement. I mean,
Mhm.
a lot of these, like Mechanic Street.
Yeah.
Has like speed limits and people go 60 miles an hour down
Yeah.
Mechanic Street.
do you have
drive
140 improvements in there at all? Do we have anything
No.
that it could be updated with?
That should be included.
That would be
It's
included.
Referenced.
That's a,
Yeah.
because that was a source of accidents. Yeah.
What was?
Route 140 coming from Milford and coming to the Waldo fence.
Yeah.
Came into up.
I think DOT has all that information regarding accidents and things like that, especially as it pertains to their roads, right? I don't think that they might not have accidents on our side streets and stuff like that, but along Route 140, Hopkinton Road, yeah, I think they'll have all that information. That can be included and updated into this chapter.
What's the yellow and the blue signify?
Oh, just my comments, sir. I had comments on the things highlighted in blue. And Lauren, what were the yellow? Those are just.
Everything was yellow to begin with.
So we can ask Margaret and Bill what their priorities were. Me and Ken spoke up.
I actually agreed with what you said. The public transit, I think, is something that we really need to be starting to think about. You know, Margaret Stanton used to say, I loved it when the train ran behind my house. You know, there was a little train that got people into Milford and from Upton.
I used to love that.
Did you? So, but, you know, even when I was a kid, like you could get a bus from Charlton to Worcester and Boston. Peter Pan bus stop in Charlton. They don't do that kind of thing.
I have to drive to Southbrook to get to Boston.
Yeah, but I think having if we had a lot where we could have shuttles, whether it's from, you know, some larger developments. If there's a place where people could park and there could be a shuttle to Southborough. Sure.
wasn't the EDC investigating whether or not that could be done underneath the power lines off of Hopkinton Road?
Oh,
For the
right,
churches?
No, actually Gore Road, the end of Gore Road.
yeah, across from the church.
Yeah.
On the other.
Oh, the Emmanuel.
Yeah. Where the police car is. Speaking of enforcement.
Specific location.
No.
Are you getting objectives that we're looking at? What's the goal or the objectives is?
Yeah, so I'm writing down all that and then I can go ahead and form some objectives based off of the existing ones, maybe just update them with new goals, and then below that further down. There are transportation recommendations. So we can start to form those two and then bring them to the board for comments. I think that'll be easier than
That's good.
forming them entirely here. And then another thing to consider could be, as far as like a traffic calming measure, putting something in the bylaw that allows the board to negotiate with developers to create more, you know, street trees or something that makes the road feel narrower, that could reduce speeding. But that could just
Speed bumps.
be a spot where more waivers are asked. 'Cause that-
Right now, I was wondering.
There's a Mechanic Street down and there's plenty of trees along there.
Yeah.
But it gets worse when, you know, there's always this, well, we'll just take out the trees and then people won't get in accidents and then they're just going faster when they hit the trees.
I was not from the road accidents,
Yeah.
especially right where I
Yeah.
am, down that hill and then around that narrow curve. I'm like, how is this guy keeping control of his
Well,
car?
people, like, they,
If,
they.
and this, if you're enhances something's character.
They speed up, because they let you go your whole.
Yeah,
And there's
yeah, that
no-
was my big question, is that, you know, the transportation plan, it says, you know, a goal of it is to preserve the town's rural character, but it didn't really define well how you're supposed to obtain that through the transportation chapter, right?
Right.
So I think I even linked a guide or two that comments
And it's a blind.
on rural street design sort of thing to help accomplish that, because, I mean, we're talking about transit, right? We're talking about these things that they don't, I mean, I wouldn't put a shuttle and discussing transit next to a discussion necessarily about rural character.
Right.
I mean, that, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't coexist. I think they should coexist. That's not something that usually happens. It's not usually you're not usually talking about rural character in the context of these plans and in the context of public outreach without trying to avoid public transit. You know what I mean? That's typically how it's used.
In 20 years, we're gonna have flying vehicles all over the place.
We
are.
And they're now already, should we put anything in the plan about how we would address
Flying cars?
flying cars?
No, George
Eric
Johnson.
has his hand up.
Which was supposed to happen 10 years ago.
It's gonna be reality. It's gonna have flying cars. I'll be in one. I thought,
Tom,
Eric, what
I
do you
agree
think?
with you. I agree with Tom that I think safety should be our number one consideration on this transportation plan. Did we talk about the complete streets policy or Vision Zero anywhere within the chapter?
Yeah, I don't know if I called that out specifically too, but I don't think so. I'll double check.
And then going back, MassDOT does have all the crashes, even if they're not on MassDOT roads. As soon as the police report it, it all goes into the MassDOT impact portal, which is super easy to use and super intuitive. But all that data is there. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I agree with Tom that I think safety is really what we should be aiming for and reducing fatalities and major injuries to zero within town. And so that's just my 2 cents.
Actually, it sounds like you're volunteering to help her with the transportation market. If you can, please, you've got some expertise in that field. Yeah.
Out of the 3 planners here, he's the only one with transportation expertise.
So please feel free to add in anything you can.
Will do.
You could run things by him if he has contact, we could check it out. Now, was that the only one we wanted to work on, or do you want to work on another one at the same time? Housing,
We can review housing in the same style, just to see the goals.
We just did housing,
because there's been a whole bunch of changes in housing,
but we just did housing like 3 years ago.
but we never updated the master plan.
Housing. We did housing.
We did a housing.
Yeah, this one should be a lot easier.
I think we should take that housing plan and.
Right, that's why I was wondering why.
Yeah, so the one good and bad thing is that since we do have a new housing production plan and affordable housing trust plan, there are a bunch of goals, but there are almost too many to choose from. So,
We were ambitious.
yeah, just like from both plans. So here are the existing objectives. For example, the first one is super specific, but it's just maintaining something that's existing, some crazy or something that necessarily needs to be updated. I guess it would be nice to identify like a specific
What about
population.
a open space subdivision in the AR zone? Those lot sizes are 40,000. Just that be saying that we shouldn't be doing open space subdivisions.
No, because that's an allowable use within within that AR zone. It has a different set of.
I would leave that conversation for the land use chapter. Maybe. I mean, that does, I mean, it overlaps.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, we already allow open space subdivision in the 80,000 square foot. It's just, it's a reduction based on other things.
is it not allowed in the 40,000? Is that what you're saying, Tom?
That doesn't say anything about 40,000. I don't think it's the 80,000.
But it is allowed, they are allowed in a.
But we don't require that the lot size stays at 80,000. We
No,
can reduce it to 40,000 because they took the other 40,000 of it.
right,
all in one
right.
spot.
But that's in the definition of subdivision, right?
I was saying, I just want that to tie our hands that we can't do that because it's gonna be 80 square foot minimum.
Right.
I think a priority should be housing for seniors, like, not over 55, but
We just got 4 of them. We got 3 of them in process.
those are over 55. Those aren't for normal people that need single, those are $750,000 houses.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things we're facing in Upton is if you're a senior, you have a choice. You move into, Coach Road, which isn't handicapped accessible, or you move out of town. And there's just no options. And I've been thinking of that like for years and years and years. And now, and my mother, like now, this wasn't the case then. But,
I would think about when I have to snowball the driveway.
yeah, but there's no place for them.
No, and for kids in college that want to come back and stay,
But seniors are a particular, I think, a vulnerable population. They part of the, there's a lot of rich kids, and I agree with you. Because my kids
gonna want to come back.
because my kids can't afford Upton, but that said, the seniors are a specific population that we've neglected.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't have anything about aging in place. That surprises me.
Yeah, we have
Oh, okay.
no, like, we don't have a Willows in Upton, we don't have
Right.
anything in Upton.
well, I
Okay.
proposed-
Willows is expensive.
I proposed years ago to have with
It was the only one I could think of.
what's it, Coach Road, what is the one next to the Dunkin' Donuts, what's that?
Coach Road.
Coach Road.
Coach Road, I had asked, why don't you have it graduated, where there's your thing, then next one would be single families or attached, maybe things, and as you went up and have a difference, then would be senior care, one would be.
There was a proposal years ago, was it Blueberry? Do you remember that? Yeah.
But all on town, that the town would do this. The proposal wasn't to have a developer come in, but use town-owned land and have a town sponsored.
But that's federal, isn't it, Coach Road? Because we talked about Coach Road before. I thought that was federally run and owned. And so the town can't do much with it.
It's federal.
Oh, it's state.
That's state.
Okay,
I know that the parking lot is on Prime gas station
I know.
property,
remember when that came up? You said you're not touching it, their grandfather in.
20 years.
So,
They got adverse possession.
I mean, I think what would be most useful in that case would be, some, basically, like what Kevin Loviser built on 140, that apartment complex, but limiting it to
Yeah.
seniors,
Yeah.
or one-story living.
Yeah.
Elevators if you're on the second floor.
And Kevin does make, if there's a senior moving in, because I talked about, it, makes any of those accessible for handicap.
Is there a zoning change that would be necessary?
Yeah, I think so. I think you would have to create the various use categories to capture all of those types of development and add them to your use table. So like you have
Use
senior
within an existing zone or create a new zone?
use within your existing zones. I don't think you'd have to create a new zone for that. So you have senior housing communities as a listed use, and that's pursuant to, the special permits that you approved.
Well, municipal, when we did the municipals, and we didn't have one, we created a municipal zone, and that's when we put up the highway barn.
Right.
Would it be a municipal use if the town was going to sponsor it? Would it be a municipal use?
Would would we actually get the town to sponsor it?
You could do it, the council on aging.
Well, two things. You have the one municipal zone that's a very small zone that only
Sponsor, we sponsor for the,
But aren't municipal uses permitted in every zone?
Good question. I don't know that that's actually the case. I might have to review it. That is, a lot of towns exempt municipal uses across the board within their zoning. You do not do that here.
I think,
That's why you created a municipal zone, I'm sure.
I think that, you know, we do have the senior housing bylaw, but that is doing one very specific thing,
Yeah.
basically for wealthy seniors.
Mhm.
And I think what we need is another use, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking.
So like, I don't think a Willows.
Miss Polly, it's like,
Yeah.
well, you know. it's
All
great.
zones or just, would it be in a general business or just put all residential?
I mean, I think you could make it, you can hammer out those details if you want, but you can certainly be vague to say, look, create those uses to be livable in town. And then you can decide on the zoning. I mean, I would assume that you'd want those uses in your more dense zoning districts. You wouldn't want them in the AR district.
Yeah.
Because you'd want them here in the center. You'd want them in West Upton
Yeah,
Center.
where the senior van is driving.
Let's remind the data
Would
tape.
be going, would have been perfect.
Yes.
Board of Appeals, yes or no? Planning board, who does the approval?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like those would probably go through planning board.
Yeah.
So if you want something like a Willows, you know, something like a Christopher Heights, you might, yeah.
And the reason I say that is because there are some very large projects that don't go through us at all.
Mhm.
So would this be one of
Like the
them?
40B.
Yeah,
Would this be one of them?
well, I'd have to
Do a little research.
look up on to see if these uses are exempt. So I'm not sure that they are. There's probably a certain version of these uses that are exempt, but probably not all of them.
And this is gonna be for assisted
Like a
living? Is this-
healthcare, like a mixed,
Yeah,
like a mixed would probably be exempt,
Yeah,
like under probably told, I don't know, but.
I think so.
Yeah, but,
Assisted living, we calling this assisted?
well,
living?
no, but if he was saying some of them would be exempt and some of them wouldn't, I wasn't, when I was just raising this,
yeah.
I wasn't thinking necessarily of assisted living, but I wouldn't rule that out either, to have like what you were talking about, the graduated thing where you move in, and then if you need help, that's, you know,
Next.
you just move, you
Yeah.
just, you know,
And a lot of them, even, you know, the most basic apartment, they're still.
Yeah.
Of some sort, yeah, like they'll do your meds free.
Well, that's why I mentioned Christopher Heights. I remember I was thinking this with my father-in-law a couple of years ago. That's exactly what they do is it's apartment living.
Yeah.
Essentially. They might help you keep track of your meds.
That's good, yeah, exactly.
And then they have a memory unit.
Yeah.
And you push it in, like to your point, you move one building over if you.
Mhm.
so you,
We doing, Grant? Just up here.
we're being recorded.
You won't remember moving it.
So, okay, but anyways, that would be my type of thing that under housing, that I think should be a priority in the town. You know, we talk a lot about, you know, general stuff about affordability for young people, which I think is pretty much covered, because we do talk about affordability. And we talk, you know, because we talk not only young people, we talk about our teachers, our DPW workers, you know, the people that actually make this town go, that can't afford to live here.
And to your point, it's the seniors that are gonna have health issues
Yeah.
as well as
Yeah.
need, you know, privacy. The
Yeah.
kids just, all they need is a comfortable place to stay.
Yeah.
They don't need,
And the
Schools
seniors,
and chairs.
the seniors right now are living in these, I mean, the people I know that have moved out of town had good sized houses.
Mhm.
You know, and they moved out of town because they couldn't maintain those houses anymore.
Yeah.
And so those houses go on the market and, you know, but the seniors could stay.
there's over 55 that came in last time, they're gonna be 600,000,
750, 750.
half a house.
Well, I mean, the ones up, at Amato, those are huge. Those houses, those senior living houses are bigger than my house.
Yeah, no, they're massive.
Multi-story,
Where's that?
Amato Farm, you know.
Rockford Meadows.
Yeah, Rockford
Yeah, Rockford
Meadows,
Meadows, yeah.
That's where Jeannie Brooks lives, yeah. Yeah, no, those are massive. Yeah, I mean, the living room of the Brooks house is the size of my house. You know, it's like crazy going into this place.
What's going on with the school? They're losing population again
Yeah.
this year?
It's always kind of like this.
This doesn't help,
Well, and, you know, population's gonna be falling.
but so all these senior housing isn't gonna help our school system. We need active children.
Well, that's a bigger problem, Tommy. I don't think that's a problem that we're gonna fix it.
That's what the current administration says, and says breed. You can be like Elon Musk.
That's
Just
right.
breed,
That's
just
right.
breed, just breed.
Oh, we'll give you $1,000.
No, but
The town's future isn't people my age, it's people their age.
I know, but Tom, a lot of people in that age group are not currently breathing because of other issues.
And that's not just us. All the census is that all the schools are going
Yeah.
down because like, you had the baby boomers and then a dip and, and the kids, I mean, the point I always heard about single family houses, kids actually cost the town a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't help with the town's vibrancy, no, to have seniors, but it's a lot of value to have historic people. And when we build these over 55 things, I don't know, and I really don't know, a single Upton resident who has moved into one of those over 55 developments. They've all been from other states and out of town. So if you want something for the folks that live in Upton, it's not going to be an over 55 development.
It's not any cheaper to go from where they're living to one of those.
We're looking to sell our home to one of these idiots that are paying $700,000.
We're paying more than that now. You know that house they built on Grove, do you know what that sold for?
I get a letter from, no,
The one next, like by the Stantons?
at 1.1?
I thought it was 1.2, yeah.
Yeah, I get the notification of everything that goes on, everybody that applies for some neighborhood watch. So anybody pulls a permit, I get a notification.
Really?
I didn't even sign up for it, somebody
How'd you
put
get
it
on
on.
that list?
They said you need to be on this list,
Because he's an important person.
okay?
That's not that we don't, that's other town.
Don't know where it comes from, neighborhood watch. Every house that's sold, every permit that's full, I get an email. Alert.
You ought to sign up for that, Mike.
I should.
Theoretically, I should know.
We get a report of all the sales.
Yeah, we get.
Or,
Oh, yeah. I can walk
or
over
you
there.
can just go online and check.
No, it's pretty easy to find, but not.
Well,
Excellent discussion.
actually, it's very good, all purpose of the farm. I get, UPW, I get. copies of
Yeah, we're all
most
favored.
of it, a lot of it's-
This section, we need to get
There's
this
UPW that's
to
involved.
get this
Permitting.
underway.
I took over. This is 61
As far as young people
Uh,
being.
on East Street.
Young people.
I forget the name.
Apartments.
We have to be there. I just
Send property.
They already came by. They already took this one out of chapter land. They need to, they create, you guys, this is you endorse this to create this
What
lot.
is this?
This is a chapter 61A,
It's a Kelly family. trust.
Kelly, thank you. Yeah, the Kelly Trust. So they had their land in chapter land with the tax reduction for open
Oh,
space.
okay, I know where, I've
Forestry
seen
and
that
recreation.
that lot is for
Yeah.
sale, yeah.
This one you
It's
did
built, yeah.
2 years ago. You released it from, or you didn't, so the select board did, but
We had to
you
make
gave
a
a recommendation.
recommendation.
It's now this
So
one.
change topics.
Yes.
We're into something else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does this fit?
We've moved on.
Yeah.
Mike's not reading.
So, so from an open space perspective, I don't think this changes the overall value of the other property. However, it does at some point make a difference if in fact they end up reducing access to the land that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at some point you may want to preserve that.
Mhm.
Can we slap an easement as part of the condition to a recommendation that?
Well, the power line easement is right.
This is a first right of refusal, so the
Yeah.
option on the table is to just buy it or not.
Buy it for the,
Yeah.
For market value, yeah.
What is the market value?
I don't, we would have to determine.
Oh, I thought it was
well,
like.
no. They have to show us the purchase and sale.
Yeah, I thought it was
Did
200.
they give that to us? Hold on.
No,
They should have.
it's only land only, right?
The package they presented to us should have included the purchase and sale agreement. That's a requirement.
I thought I saw like 205
Could be.
or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because it's a lot. It's not a, there's not a house in it.
All right, thoughts, we recommend,
How big is the parcel?
town buying it or?
This is a little over 2 acres.
Is there a plan of what they're gonna do with it?
House.
We
It's
don't,
gonna be a house.
House
just
lot.
one house lot?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's real.
So this is the new,
Main Street.
this is the power line cut, so you're heading from Hopkinton this way, you come back up the hill, there's the brand new house that they just built on the right, it's the lot right before that.
But the question before the board is, should the town
Should
buy
the
that?
town buy the
For
lot?
what, for Bill said, for future access to?
Well, again, I suspect that this particular property leaves plenty of access to the rest of their land, because they own how much,
Yeah, they own a lot more.
Yeah,
I forget.
because there's a lot of corn up there under the power line even.
No, but I can find that information out. I mean, it's a much bigger piece of land than.
so if they didn't include the purchase and sale agreement, the application here is in.
So Laura
It very well could be. I would say that that detail aside, the fair market value for an approved lot for building purposes, it's a lot, you've created it. It's gonna be about 300,000. That's
Yeah.
market value for land these days.
So see,
It's a bit steep.
So from an investment perspective, I don't think it makes sense to preserve 2 acres for
Right.
$300,000.
Trying to see where it is.
I think there are.
You know the new house that they built just before,
And how much land's behind it? Like, what is
a
it?
lot. Kelly says,
Oh, here's,
But that's all farmland?
Yeah.
Right now?
they plant a lot of corn.
And that they go on the March one days and
it's hard to see, obviously.
that's not.
Yeah.
That,
It's gonna be a super highway.
is that Christian Hill Road?
No, Christian Hill comes in here.
Tap?
This is Taft
Tap.
and Walnut is up here.
I don't see the benefit of owning it. At the time.
Buy it for driving purposes.
Yeah, except it's a small lot.
With people on rock, the others.
Well,
What do you think?
No, they would, because the Brooks is strong. And they're sort of,
Oh, yeah.
and very, linked. You know, the people that are outspoken at Rock have strong support. They would welcome it.
So is our recommendation that the town, not purchase the property?
On the condition that Paul Flaherty be told that the planning board recommended.
Agreement for that?
Yeah.
Agreement for that. It's unanimous.
Thank you.
And I believe that better. Every time we get some. We hate housing, but a house, the town's gonna stagnate.
These are the nights that are quit. Quit drinking and I regret it. This is-
I'll have some for you when I get.
So we still have to talk about fees, right? Now I'm pushing you.
You've got a meeting adjourned?
Well, you can talk about fees, so.
That's up to you.
Without objection, meeting adjourned?
You don't want to talk about fees then, that's what.
About what?
Fee.
Fee schedule review is on the agenda, Tom.
I will
Oh,
just adjourn the meeting.
yes, thank you very much. We do need fees for all of our applications. I'm not sure we need, if we have a site plan review, I don't know if we need an application review, so people do that. But for instance, on a large lot, reduced frontage, we don't take an application fee, but we do take a site plan review fee. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we've been, what did we charge? I forget, because you don't have a listed,
Maybe
like,
what we need is a fee schedule and then we can look at it
Yeah.
and see what we,
Yeah.
that'd be a good place to start.
well, that's what this is intending to correct for.
Yeah. You written one? We have.
So I have a list of what's missing, a list of what we have. Pretty much subdivisions and site plan approvals are covered by the rules and regulations. It's just a few special permits that don't have any fees, but the fees are referenced in the bylaw. It just says like fees. So for example, large lot frontage reduction, we've been getting checks for 105, but I can't find anywhere that says that. But Sometimes I assume the engineer knows more than me.
No,
So it would be nice to have something like that in writing, and some of them do also require site plan approval in addition to the special permit. So if we default to the site plan approval fees, that makes sense to me. And I think that we don't necessarily have to like rewrite the bylaw to say you actually don't need fees on this, so that can be interpreted.
one of the caveats is that at the end of the process, we can bill anybody for any unpaid bill. If we have an engineering, if we send it up to an engineer, we take $5,000 for review fees, it comes back $6,000. You don't have to sign, they have to pay that $1,000 before we approve, before we vote on it. So you do have to have fail safe.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time any of our fees were raised?
Right before I built my house.
So, just as a quick example, other towns I looked at, Millbury and North Brook, they popped up first. They do legal ad fees in some cases and like a request to extend a deadline. The Conservation Commission does legal ad fees. It's, I think $110. That's not something that the planning board currently charges, but definitely could.
We can always waive the fee. We do waive the fee for the town. Sometimes when the town comes in, something we waive the fee.
And if someone's coming back and
Yeah, we
there's
waive the
something
fees,
that's
right? So we should put it in there. Can always waive it.
For example, for definitive subdivisions, the review fees are significantly higher for the other two towns I looked at. But I think that's just a matter of asking for a larger amount of money upfront versus going back to the applicant and saying that there's another.
And there actually would, I mean, I feel like a lot of times we're just going back again and again and again, and maybe asking for more upfront would make sense. I mean, we ran into this with,
And we give it back.
we give it back when we don't use it. We ran into it with, who was it that kept not paying these review fees?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when I started the planning.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
Yes, I'm trying to forget that
Yeah.
whole.
Back in Uxbridge.
Oh, I wasn't thinking of you, I was thinking of the guy down on Mendy Street. Yeah. Yeah, guy in Oxford.
Maybe.
Nikki,
Yeah.
our friend Nikki.
Loves me.
So I guess what you would do is you would write this up just like you're doing and present it to us. We'll vote on it. And we'll put it in the book.
But I do like the idea of asking for
I think that's
as
good.
much as possible up front.
Work, by the way.
And
So I think we just
waive
need
this one.
a public hearing.
We don't need a public hearing.
You don't need a public hearing?
I don't think for review fees, we don't.
If it goes in your rules and regulations, you would.
Right, so, you know, we're gonna have a public hearing night coming up, right, with two town meeting warrant articles, we
Yeah.
could just toss that on there at the same
But-
time if we have to.
Subdivision control, and that is a public meeting.
Right.
Right,
Public hearing is when we have to do with zoning. So this would just be a public meeting. We just put it on our agenda and vote on it at a public meeting.
But I still think you need a public, technically a public hearing, like an advertisement in order to like
Right.
change your rules and regs. And if this is going into your rules and regs, you would need a public hearing. This specifically, I'm unsure of, but like your rules and regs do need a public
I'd
hearing.
rather, you can be safe.
Yeah,
That'd be safe.
I doubt you're gonna get flooded.
Now you can do this both.
You also,
Yeah, just one more thing through the chair, quick question. So for the website, I've done this for site plan approval and subdivisions, just making like a sheet where people can see all the required materials in one place. This is what it would look like for special permits. And so as an example of one that's sort of unclear, would be like drive-through establishments and the use table to require a special permit through the planning board. And there's not much else to it, but some towns do have a general special permit application fee, like 300 flat rate for stuff like this.
we'll put it for discussion, put it $300.
Okay.
What is the pharmacy of which she speaks?
What's that?
What is the pharmacy of which she speaks? It says pharmacy.
Is that in our
That's-
bylaw?
Yeah,
I know,
There you go.
I just looked at.
and we had the drive-through. They don't have a pharmacy for God's sake.
yeah.
I saw today.
Dunkin' Donuts is driving.
They're gonna
So the pharmacy.
They're gonna do construction on Quaker now, which is gonna make it even harder to get to Workensville. Like from my house, now because of bridge road. Like I am all the way south of South Street, right? So in order to get to Whitensville now, I have to go all the way back up, or all the way south, Drive, all the way back up, across and then down Quaker. And now they're gonna close Quaker for water main.
Personal flying vehicle.
Water main. That's gonna amend them to get to Oxford.
There's a woman in Upton, Mary Ann, and John, like, that's the age.
So yeah,
She's
$300
been
bucks.
working all around
That you do.
conference in all the towns.
Anything else for all things asked?
And she has a
Thank you very much.
text
Well
that
done.
she sent to a bunch of people.
Thank you. That's good.
Um,
Meeting adjourned. Okay. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Aaron.